So for today, we are introducing 3 new artists. And yeah, we have 3 guests. And the first one is Andrea. Are you here? Can you hear us and can you speak?
Yes, I can hear you and I think I can speak.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So I would like you to first introduce yourself a little bit, where are you from, and so on. And please tell us something about you that the other people get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Happy to be here, first of all. Good morning to some of you. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zones you're at. I'm Andrea. I live in Istanbul and I've been creating for over 10 years. And just recently, I've joined the NFT space in late August. I've done a collection that I've called Liquid Abstracts and found a nice success with it. And since then, after observing the love in the space for the generative artworks, I've finalized the project I've been working on, which is the current project I'm actively working and posting and sharing for the last couple of months, which I call Foils. Foils is a body of work I create using photos of aluminum foils. So there's a random generation factor involved in the beginning, but it's by means of analog resources. It's not code driven, it's completely chaotic. I fold pieces of aluminum foil and I take photos of those. Then from the photos, I create the abstract images I've been sharing and presenting. So all these abstract shapes I share are results of aluminum foil being folded chaotically. And why do I do this? Because meaning comes from repetition. If something is repeated, there is meaning around it. And these shapes don't come easily. Not every foil has a piece to share. I fold hundreds of foils maybe until I get something interesting to make this a collection. And I ask people, what do you see in these? Because I give these pieces a title. Some of them are called Break, one is called Commander, one is called Ambassador. They're abstract names compared to the images I show. And it's almost like a reverse Rorschach test, where in a Rorschach test, people would be shown an ink blot and be asked, what do you see? I tell people what I see in them and show them the image. At that point, the conversation becomes, do you see what I see, or do you still reflect your own inner state to the piece? For example, there was a piece I've recently shared I've called Regret. To me, it looks like a hand grenade, and that's why I called it Regret, because of the zeitgeist. But people have been looking at it and seeing head figures, animal figures, hats. So it's those conversations I'm after, and I've been sharing them as foils. So that's a small, not so small intro for my online persona and my work.
Yeah, so that's super interesting. So can you go in a bit more detail about, so you use a few colors in your works. It's not entirely black and white. So what's the thinking behind the color scheme and the presentation?
It looks a little, when I have first seen it, I was somehow thinking this looks like Japanese art. Somehow, this was my first impression. Is it by intention, or was it just me interpreting this art?
No, this comment is pretty unanimous. Almost everyone who has that vision of minimal Japanese art sees it in there because it's pretty much inspired by it. But the red dot, the use of red, is pretty popular in tattoos too, which also happened to be my inspiration behind these, because what's interesting in them for me are the shapes. Within the shapes, there are parts that are more integral to what I see, to what my vision is. It's like looking at a cloud. When you look at a cloud laying on the grass and you see something, it's because a particular detail, maybe a line, maybe a curvature, something got your attention, and that's where you built your case on. So for me, the use of red or any other contrasting colors I've been using are to point your direction, your eye there. I asking you to look here. This is where my attention's at. I try to keep it easy. Square, like a rectangle, or a circle. Because circle, most likely you will think of a sun, so you will set the scene outdoors. And with the rectangle, it's more like, look here, there's something to build your foundation on, because it's a building, a tree. Like, those are the rectangular objects in our lives. So I try to keep the color scheme minimal, because the shapes within the collection are very complex. The attention had to be on the shapes, not the colors. So I made the composition around this.
Yeah, so this is really, really interesting. When I first saw your work, I saw this was generated by code, because I think on your OpenSea collection page it says it's created by a generative process. And I didn't look too much into details, so I thought it would be generated code. So what hearing you saying that you basically have just folded like 100 of these foils and then selected the ones that you liked and took photographs of it. It makes even actually really more interesting. And you said you ask people what they see in these pieces. What I find really interesting is that people basically see shapes based on who they are. So it's kind of a psychoanalysis a bit to me. And the tweet that you shared in space. So, like for instance, I see the lower left corner. I see, for instance, a crane. Is this the same what you see?
For me, the lower left corner, lower right corner.
Right, yeah, the lower right corner.
Yeah, it's that's a bird, a flamingo, a stork, a crane, like something with long arms.
Yeah, it looks very great.
And I'm really happy you mentioned how you thought it was generative artwork, because the way I go through these steps of creation, there are layers to it. And I try to share that experience with anyone who would click on my link and come to an OpenSea page, because on the first look too, it has a generative feel. And you said you read it first and thought it was generative. But then if you read further, if you go to my webpage where I describe my process and show it a bit, you would see there's more to it. And I wanted to keep the experience as layered as I lived through it. I wanted the audience to go through the steps, explore their meaning on their own as they dived further.
Yeah, it's a really interesting process. And I wanted to ask you why did you choose your name, Andrea Litmus? Is there a meaning behind this?
It's a really old inside joke. In high school, I wrote poetry books and then made it. I called it litmus paper with 4 other friends, and then we just took the Litmus name everywhere we went. If we made a movie, we would put Litmus Productions, and it just became part of the online personas we were creating.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And another question I see, the collection is going to be 169 foils with 1 new foil every day.
Yes.
Any particular reasoning behind like 169? That was very specific.
It is specific. It is because aluminum's atomic number is 13, and 13 would have been too small of a number, and I wanted to keep it related to my source code, the source material, if you must. So 13 squared is 169, and 169 is I think it's a marketable number, you know?
Nice,
exactly, nice.
Yeah, I really like how this is thought through in all of these various aspects.
And one thing I would love to share, because it's like such a crazy milestone I never thought was going to happen. 2 months ago, 2 people decided to get designs from Foils collection tattooed on themselves, which is, as an artist, an amazing feeling to see, because someone likes your work so much they decide, you know what, I'm going to carry this on me for, ever.
Wow, what a big hunter.
Right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So
do you have an own tattoo?
Sorry? I don't do the tattoo myself, but they just asked the tattoo artist, and it was cool. He's like, of course, I'll do it.
Maybe the last one, the final piece, is on your body.
Oh,
it's super rare.
I should get more, but all the tattoos I have are in old school, and these would look so weird next to them. I really do want to get one of these. I think I will end up having at one point. I should.
So maybe if somebody our listeners want to also ask the host, the artist, a question, maybe now it's a good moment because maybe you have also questions to the artist. Then just raise your hand, ask for speaking, and we will make that possible. No problem here.
Oh, Andrea has another question. So when you take photographs of these folded aluminum foils, do you then create a vector file out of these photographs?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So we have no questions for now, which is also fine. I think we could introduce the next speaker. His or her name is Mush. And I have seen his or her art in the Meta Angels Discord, I think, or just in my timeline because I follow some Meta Angels. Yeah, and I looked on the stunning images with all the slides, and I was really impressed. And my first intention was we have to invite. And yes, this is how it came. Mush, now it's your turn. Please tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Hi. So it's a she, her.
It's a she, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so excited to finally talk with you and hear the voices behind the text. It's like weird in Twitter. So for me, it's almost midnight here. I'm from Tel Aviv. And I know a lot of artists talk about that English is not their native language. So also for me, and I hope you'll understand me. So
perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you included me in the Angels Gallery and gave me the opportunity to present my art alongside all the talented artists here. And I also, so Casper is not here, but I wanted to thank him as well because he sent me a private message and helped me a lot to upload the art to the gallery, and is giving me tips. So my name is actually Mayan, but my nickname and my artistic name is Mush. And don't ask me why, but this is my family nickname for over a decade now, Mush. In my profession, I'm a data scientist focused on computer vision, and I use Python as a coding language. So how it all started for me, about 6 months ago, I was at home with my newborn son, and was curious in learning how to code Python in Blender, which is a 3D graphic rendering software. So I took it as a project and learned it by myself. And I was curious about using the automation Python allows in Blender for generating objects and features of the objects in random manner. So I started formulating the light scenes, starting from a very simple one object and adding new features and layers of complexity to the scenes every day. And after like 4 or 5 months, I reached the state where I was happy with the results of the project. And it was in parallel during the time that I was introduced with NFTs and also Twitter. I didn't use Twitter before. And I felt like this is like a perfect match for me to enter the field, and starting to introduce myself also as a creative coding artist. I also discovered the amazing communities, and especially the one that gives a voice and push women to enter Web3, such Meta Angels. So I'm very connected with this project. In more details about my art, so there's an infinite number of 3D light scenes that I can generate using the code in a combination of objects, colors, and animation. The light collection now includes 1,000 unique digital arts, and it's in OpenSea. I will tell you more in a few details. So the digital art is composed of multiple features, including the object shape, background, environment colors, the background animation, whether it's single or multiple objects, if the scene is static or moving. And these features, I'm selecting them with the predefined probabilities. That some features are more scarcer than others. And once these characteristics are selected, a variety of numerical options are defined randomly, like the number of objects, the size, orientation, location, the timing of the animation, and the colors. So the light scenes are coded in Python, and I'm rendering the scenes on the GPU in my home computer. And the collection now includes both videos and still images, because I thought there's a beauty for both of them. And the lights for me actually represent two things. First, my personal occupation is in tech, and I'm feeling that I've always been a minority, also in university and in the industry as a woman. So the Lights project is a way for me to express my support for women in tech, in code, and algorithms. So light the way for women in tech. Secondly, the 3D scenes emphasize the globality in the NFT community for me. It's like the world. So there are artists and collectors from all over the world, like here. And I'm trying to speak about it and also support global artists. So I welcome you all to follow and share and spread my lights as well.
They are beautiful, your lights.
Thank you so much.
So I think the best what you can do is just walk into our gallery. I haven't said where you can find them. So those artists have their wall on the right-hand side. So if you just start the gallery, just go to the right side. There you will see the entrance to the east wing. And I think the lights from Mush are directly visible. Just stay there a little bit and just enjoy every light on its own, and maybe all of them together. I really like them. And after you have seen the lights of Mush, then you just go into the East Gallery, right-hand side again, and then you will see this funny experience that Casper has made, where we have these images flying in the town hall, and it's not attached to the space, to the walls. So after you have heard the space, I really invite you to look on the gallery. It's a little bit hard in the beginning if you are using your mobile phone, but you get used to it, or you can also enjoy it very comfortable on your desktop PC. Yeah, but Mush, I have some questions for you, because I'm also a programmer, and in Python, something I have heard about. Can you tell me how long you are rendering on one scene?
Yeah, so I have actually a GPU computer processor in my home computer. It's about 2 minutes for a scene, but it depends on the complexity. So if it's one object is quicker, if it's multiple, like over 150 objects, it's slower.
Yeah, I was expecting that the images with a lot of stars and with a lot of movement could take half an hour or just 1 hour. Was my impression?
No, not so. No, I think it's around 5 minutes, maybe. But I have a really strong GPU.
I need a new laptop.
It's a desktop. Yeah. And actually, it's in my bedroom, the computer, and like I tried to render through the night, and it was awful. I couldn't sleep at all.
So I also have a question, and several questions. So first of all, I see that I discovered there are stars, for example, in the collection, like different shapes. Can you talk a bit about the different properties or kind of the variation that you've added?
Yeah. So as I described before, so I started with a simple, like the ball shape. which I feel like it's simple, but it's like the lights, and then afterwards I wanted to try like different to add more shapes. So I played with the stars. Stars. I have diamonds, and also hearts. When Valentine's Day approaches, I added also the hearts. But these are just the objects. There are multiple like features for the selection of the team of the scene. So also the background colors, whether it's one color or the colors are changing. If the colors are going to be bold colors or soft colors. What else? So the animation of the scene, whether it's static animation, like one view, or it's whether it's moving. So these features, I'm selecting them with the probabilities that I defined. Like 20% of the object will be stars. And once I'm selecting these binary features of the scene, there are random selections of these selections. So if the objects are small objects, I'm going to select a random number of objects, which is between I don't know, between 50 to 200 objects. So the object also, the size of them can be small or large. So the scene is there's endless possibilities of the scene.
Thank you. And I also noticed it's a really big collection in terms of art, like it's 1,000 pieces. Have you run into any challenges dealing with that kind of large collection? I see it's on the OpenSea storefront. So I'm just curious to how has it been
uploaded?
Yes.
Yeah. So so luckily I understand code, and here I also did it all by myself. So I actually coded like a script to upload the pieces to OpenSea. So it was automatic.
That's nice.
Yeah, but
really
but it took a lot of time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if anyone listening haven't seen the wall in the gallery yet, do open the gallery on your computer and take a look. It's really mesmerizing seeing all of this on the wall. So really well done.
Thank you so much.
I think the light collection looks really amazing in the gallery because it's all dark, and then these bright stars and shapes that just pop out of the wall. So it looks really nice. I think I kind of missed it in the beginning, but did you say that you created these basic shapes in Blender initially?
Yeah, so all the scenes are rendered in Blender.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I think, so is your collection already finished?
Yeah, so it's finished. It's 1,000 pieces. It is a challenge because I uploaded all the pieces at once. It is a challenge for me now to like spread it and share, and I do feel it's a bit intimidating that there are so many pieces in OpenSea. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wonder because some collections have a different way of releasing items. So they are just releasing chunks of items so that it looks a little bit more scarce, but in the end it's the same amount. But you have chosen to upload everything at once. Was there some special reason behind it, or was it just because you wanted to have everything available for everybody?
Yeah, right. So I feel like as an artist here and participating in this space, so I'm involving and learning throughout the way. So I think that looking back, I should have maybe uploaded in batches, but now that it's up, I don't want to download it or erasing it. So this is the situation now. So this was the reason.
No shaming here.
Yeah.
My first NFT I uploaded was wrong. And now it's or better, I realized after that I can't remove it again. So my first NFT I have uploaded is still available and I have no way to remove it again. So I think this happens to every artist in the beginning, that he needs to figure out how things work. So absolutely no problem. At least for me, I had exactly the same situation. It would be nice if the blockchain could be a little bit more non-immutable.
Yeah, it's kind of unforgiving of stuff like this. But yeah, that's perfectly fine. And one thing I really like about having the entire collection available straight away is the ability to browse and really find the favorites. So there's no risk of like picking a piece and then later discovering, oh, I like that one better. Like it's all here, and you can really browse everything and get the full view.
I actually also added the traits, the features of the scene, so you can also search by the traits.
Oh yes, I did. I clicked the star. So yeah, really good.
Thank you so much.
And I really think we have to keep them on the wall, because otherwise I have the impression that everything will be a little bit darker again. I really have the feeling that these lights are shining into the room, but I'm not sure if this is really the case, if this is really a light source. But I really have the impression that since your lights are in the gallery, it's a little bit lighter everywhere. So I really like it.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
So do we have some more questions? By the way, I have some people are coming in and asking to speak. For me, this is absolutely fine. So please stay here. Don't leave us. Wait for our Meta Angels artists to introduce themselves and their work. I'm pretty sure we will find some time to also let you speak. So just don't be disappointed that I'm not going to directly pick you. So for example, I have Aixa here in the waiting list, and also another person that wanted to speak. Just stay here, and we will have the time to also let you speak if you want to introduce yourself or want to ask some questions. So just be patient. I see this, and I will not forget to add you as a speaker. But first, we would like to follow our agenda, and later on, we have time enough. Okay, now it's hard for me. How to pronounce this? Deva? Is that correctly pronounced?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. I'm really happy to be with all of you. How are you?
Yeah. Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about you and your first NFT? I'm excited to be able to feature a very young artist with his first work, which is also great.
Yes. So I'm French, and I'm in NFT space since January as a collector, and I'm a baby artist now. And my first collection is Mothers of Light, and it will be about motherhood, and I will be using a percentage of the sale to buy NFTs in support of Artist Mom. And my first piece is Inner Child. I don't know how to pin it, so if you can do it for me, please.
Yeah, I pinned it, but I have to press it several times, the buttons. In the end, I have more than one pin, but I also already pressed the button to pin it. Can you tell me a little bit about your first work? What was your inspiration to create it, and what is the idea behind? I have an interpretation. I see a mother with her older child. What is he? How do you interpret this?
So the collection is about motherhood, but for me, there is a mother within each of us who has to take care of our inner child. And for me, man, woman, we have to be the mother of ourselves, of our inner child. So on the picture, you can see the child is coming from the stomach of the woman, and for me, you have first to take care of yourself to be able to take care of others, of your children, and of the earth. So it's a work on yourself. For me, what the motherhood is, it's not just to be a mother, because for me, really, we can be mothers in a different way. And so that's funny. You thought it was a child, a real child, you mean?
I'm not sure. So for a baby, it's on the wrong position, right? So I was a little bit asking myself, what was your idea to place this glowing child in that position? But it's not a baby in the stomach. It's like
no,
it's surrounding my full body, right?
It's your inner child, the little child in you, who is always there, and the one who you have to take care of him or her. It's all about healing and all the suffering, and welcome all your feelings and all the things that make you the adult that you are. And then we have all a child inside us.
Is that some philosophical or eternal thing I don't understand, or religious thing? Please tell me more.
The inner child, it's you can find it in psychology and a lot of things. It's all the behavior you can have, all the feelings, all the angry, sadness, and everything, and all things that you can have, like all the behaviors and all the sufferings that you have as an adult. And it's this inner child that you have to take care of and listen to him or her.
I understand. Thank you. Casper told me that you are going to release a second mint, right?
Yes, I hope soon, but I'm working the evenings, because during the day I'm doing homeschooling with my girls, so it took me all my time and energy during the day. So I'm quiet the evenings, and so I'm working the evenings. So I'm I'm slow, but I do the best I can.
But don't worry. Me and my father are even slower. So we are never releasing. We just every week we are doing something more on it, but we never release it. So if I could give you a suggestion, so you could post some intermediate steps. A lot of artists are just putting their stuff out when it's finally done. But I think it's also very interesting to see the progress of this. So if you have already something in place, you could share it with us in the Discord in a safe place.
I'm working on the second piece, and I'm working on it's a mix of a lot of things. This one, it's Blender and Procreate on iPad.
So now you have to show it afterwards. The unfinished raw artwork.
I don't like to show unfinished work. Maybe I'm too perfectionist. I don't know.
You wouldn't believe how many artists are exactly doing this. There are even artists which are hiding their physical piece under they are hiding it so that nobody sees it until it's finished. I know that feeling, but really we are looking forward to your next piece, because I think one of the questions is where's the next piece, because you have to add something to your collection so that it's going to be a collection.
Yes. First, I wanted to wait until the 12 pieces will be finished, and I was like, I have to show something. I have to start, and so I decided to mint the first one.
Thank you very much for minting it. We found it very inspiring.
Thank you.
Espresso June, I'm sure you have some questions too, right?
Yes, I do. Hi, Deva. Nice to hear your voice.
Hello, you.
So it was great to hear that you said the way how you created, because initially I thought this was made like by a collage or something.
Okay.
And you said it's made with Blender and then further processed with Procreate. So this is really interesting to see how things are actually done a different way than one would have expected just by looking at the piece. And your piece, like just reading through the description, really resonates with me, and it deals, I think, strongly with, like for me, inner child is like a subconscious personality, I would say, something that, or behavior that has been formed during our environment during the childhood, and sometimes these behaviors or personality, we are not really aware of it, and sometimes this personality can somehow also affect us in a negative way, and that's why I think, dealing with it, also became aware of it and trying to heal this is an important process. And you've been describing this in a very nice way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So will the additional pieces that you plan to add to this collection, it will be also in the Mothers of Light collection, I assume, right? Along the same line, I guess.
Yes. First, for me, it was the first piece because, as I told you just before, for me, the first step is to be a great mother for yourself. And then I will speak about a lot of other subjects like the birth, the pregnancy, all about motherhood. But for me, the roots, it's be a great mother for yourself, and then you can give your love and give your light to others and bring love and light on this earth.
Yeah. So first of all, just to heal ourselves before we can actually help others.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to interrupt. You said Blender, so the woman is not the photograph.
No. Someone asked me. Yeah, someone asked me if it was me on the on the piece, and I said no. Maybe one day you will see me in my NFTs, but not now.
No, okay, but it's impressive. Really great rendering. I know how hard it is to make it realistic. And now, if I'm zooming in, okay, I can see it that it's that some pixels are repeating, but if you wouldn't have told me, I would have said this is a real photograph. Awesome.
Great.
So you have to tell everybody that this is 3D. Wow.
Yeah, for me it was I didn't think when someone asked me, is it you on the piece, I was like, oh, no. No. So well, it's a compliment, thank you. But I'm really a baby in a Blender, so I'm a self-taught blender.
That's why you have to show how it was created. Then everybody can see that there's a 3D model behind it. It was too perfect, so that I wasn't aware that this is not a photo.
Yes, and after I used Procreate on iPad, I did all the nebula and the gold on the not the child, but all the nebula was made on iPad and Procreate.
Yeah, so for your future pieces, it would be great to, I'm not sure whether we can still add this to this current piece, but it would be great to add this to the description to how this has been created, so people know that it's just not a collage or a photograph, that you have been manipulated.
Or you
could I think this would be great.
Or you could move the camera a little bit around. I like it if it's a little bit moving.
Yeah, I'm really I love videos and but my computer is not how do you say it's not enough strong for now for me to make videos. But I'm really used to video because before I stopped to take care of the children, I was a dancer, choreographer, and actress, and I was playing a lot with cameras and everything. So I love NFT when they are moving. But for now, technically, I'm doing static ones.
So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about your art. Wow.
Yeah, I just had to add. I also thought this was a picture, and then it was processed in Procreate or something like this. So yeah, that's really impressive Blender work.
Thank you.
Yeah, Blender seems to be a very impressive tool. So today we already have 2 artists using Blender.
Well,
and I think it's also you have a very steep learning curve as far as I know, right? To learn Blender.
When the first time I opened it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, sorry," but it's like I told you, I'm just at the beginning. I'm really a baby, so there is so much potential with Blender. It's amazing.
Totally looking forward to what you will create next as you learn more how to use this tool.
So, Espresso, you usually have so much questions.
Yeah, so I'm curious about this other aspect of the marketplaces. We touched on foundation and tech issues, but what about foundation versus OpenSea? What was the thinking behind choosing foundation for this piece?
I don't know. I heard a lot of one artist who was complaining about OpenSea. I don't know. A lot of artists I was following were on foundation, and it's like just inner choice. I cannot really explain you.
That's okay. Yeah, because we discussed this a bit earlier in the Discord as well, because it's certainly, I think, harder to be noticed on OpenSea. Like there is so much, right? It's so vast. A marketplace, and Foundation has this image, at least, of being more premium art. I feel. So it sounds like for artists that have access to both, sounds like Foundation is in general a good choice. But yeah, curious to hear if others have perspectives on this as well.
Yes, yeah, this is something. I'm sorry.
No, go.
I just wanted to say that I heard from a lot of people that the platform doesn't matter, and I'm not really sure about this, but I heard this from a lot of people. I'm not sure what the opinions of you guys are.
I hope it matters. I tried hard to get an invitation to Foundation. Don't tell me that it doesn't matter, but.
Yeah, I think it matters, definitely. And also
thank you.
And also the choice of which blockchain to mint on. So, for example, do you go Ethereum or Polygon? That's like the first question. And then do you do Ethereum or Tezos? Second question. And I think this definitely affects which audience you get to a certain degree. Of course, we love to use Twitter for discussing everything about art, and you can share links to whatever marketplace, right? And especially on Tezos, there seems to be a new marketplace every other week, I feel. But that's a different discussion. But yeah, I think these marketplaces, at least Foundation versus OpenSea versus the ones on Tezos, have different profiles, and collectors have that in mind when they browse them, I feel.
I was asking myself if because I like Solana also, because it's the mint it's nothing, and I like Solana, but I minted on badges on Solana, and it was so easy. But yeah, I went for Ethereum because it's now it's the number one, and we are all waiting Ethereum too.
Yes, that's so true.
So I added Silvo as a speaker because she was all the time writing in our Discord and talking. So I thought I should add her as a speaker so that she can join the discussion.
Hello,
Hi, Silvo.
Hello, thank you. Hopefully my mic isn't scratchy this time, but I was just...
It's better.
It's better. Okay. So I was just saying that I heard that the platform doesn't matter too much, because a lot of times buyers or collectors, they'll be seeing your work on Twitter, or they'll be following your work there. And then someone gave the analogy that the platform is kind of just like the checkout counter, because a lot of times you'll be posting your work on Twitter, and then if someone wants to buy it, they'll just follow the link there, and wherever it is, they can do the transaction. But I think it's definitely true that Foundation and Known Origin definitely have more prestige, just because there are, it's invite only, and they do take a little bit more of a cut. So I think it is only natural that the art on those platforms is also priced higher too, which I guess, people sometimes equate something being more expensive to being of higher value. Whether or not that's true, everyone knows is subjective. But yeah, so those are just a few thoughts that I had while listening to this discussion.
Yeah, that makes sense. And of course we shouldn't equate high price to high quality, because there's an entirely different question of, okay, how do you price art?
Yeah, I mean, you could have a whole space dedicated to pricing probably, and it would be 3 hours long.
Exactly.
Oh, we write it down. How to price art. That would be great. I have to learn something.
There'd be a million perspectives, yeah.
Let me add this, that for these platforms like Known Origin or Foundation, one of the reasons why it's the sales price seems to be higher is also because of the higher fee. So like the commission fee on both Known Origin and Foundation, they are above 10%, and also you have to pay for minting upfront, which depending on gas can go up to several hundred. And yeah, so I think this definitely adds up.
Yeah.
Like in the real world. In the real world, the artist needs to buy a canvas and needs to buy paint and has to invest in before to make the art. So this is more like in the old world, where you have to invest before you can create, right?
Definitely.
With the lazy minting, it's cheap, You could just do anything, see if it works or not. But on Foundation, you have to be sure that you want to add it.
You will certainly put more effort into the quality.
And then, but when it comes to investing, making digital art has to have a higher price tag, entry tag for the equipment needed, right? Compared to traditional art, like minimum an iPad. But I think everybody in the virtual world takes this for granted. Yeah, everybody has a mobile phone or iPad, but you are right. We are very privileged that we have these devices, that we have internet access, and that we have the time to jam on Twitter. That's not normal. Yeah, that's a good point.
So we talked about 1 hour. We had a really great space. I learned so much. We have heard all the stories from the artists. What do you think? Should we round it up? Or do you want to add something to this discussion?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So what I really enjoyed about this format is learning about the creative process of everyone. And this is very inspiring, because you look at a piece and you have a certain idea how this has been created, but then you learn from the artist, him or herself, that it's actually completely created in a different way, and this makes the whole thing very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the future spaces where we can invite more artists and talk about this creative process and get inspirations.
But by the way, new artists, I think we should really find new artists joining us, that we can rotate it and grow together. So if anybody listening to this would like to introduce a new artist, please just write us, write Casper, write me, write June or Espresso. Absolutely fine. Or just join our Discord, and it could be you or somebody where you really like the art. Just tell us about this artist, and then we will see if it would fit into our into our gallery. We know there's so much great art outside, but I think we are going to find some kind of style we are going to add. For example, in the past, we have this artistic view on the NFT world. And for example, we removed all the apes, and we are going more into a direction of fine art. So I think we are going to develop a special taste in our gallery. I'm not sure if June or Espresso have the same opinion about this, but I think we have some kind of direction we are following. It's not that much clear, but if I'm looking on the complete NFT space, we have a spot where we are targeting. We have no apes, and we have no stuff where it's a cool bro culture. We have a special niche, and we are going to develop it. So don't be disappointed if we don't like your ape, for example. But these one-of-one special pieces where you see the artist behind, where you see the work he has done, where you see that he or her has a special message. That's the stuff we want to have in our gallery.
Yeah, I think we're mostly focused on fine art, right? Or at least most of pieces are more in that direction.
It's interesting. In the beginning, we said, okay, we take whatever is nice, but it develops. And then you develop a special taste, and it all fits together in the end.
Yeah, and it's so great also to hear more about how these pieces have been created, and the backstory and the inspiration. It makes it so much better to enjoy the art and really appreciate the inspiration and work that's gone into it. So a big thank you to Andrea, to Mush, and to Deva for coming here today and sharing your stories. I really appreciate it.
Okay. I think this was a great ending. So for me, it's very late. I wish you all a super nice day or evening. It was really fun and joy to have you here. And we will do another space on Sunday. I'm not sure about the time, but we will definitely have another space on Sunday. That's for sure. So just mark your calendar. Sunday is Angel Swing time.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.